こんにちは。Sojin と Zhao のヤーピングセッションようこそ。T をやります。今日はね、もう春になった。ちょっとカメラマンそっちに綺麗でしょ Okay, let me cut off my weird Japanese. Peach oolong tea from Sojin.
Good.
And then we got some oranges. We got a candle. We got cups. We got me. But anyway, let's make some tea. Oh my god, I feel like a Japanese woman.
Hey guys, welcome back to the 5th episode of Sojin and Zhao's Yapping Session.
Can you guys see the spring is literally coming, like literally came.
It did.
No, because like last time we shot the video and there was nothing on the branch.
Yeah.
But now, you know.
Yeah, spring
there's
is springing for sure. So, shall we get started? Today, we're gonna be talking about
Harsh topic, which is
baito, which is part-time job.
let's maybe talk about how do we get a job.
Okay.
Or how everybody as a foreigner gets a job in Japan.
Right.
First of all, we're talking about baito, which is part-time job because we don't have much experiences on like a real full-time job yet. Yeah. So that's what we're gonna talk about today.
Yeah. I feel like there's like big 4 ways to get a part-time job. The first one is taonwaku, which is town work. Number 2 is
가이진 pot.
gaijin pot. Number 3 is just posters on the restaurants or just like cafes. And number 4 is Hello Sensei. Each app has its unique feature, so maybe we can like talk a little bit about it.
Starting with the most popular one,
Yeah.
town work.
Yeah.
Town work, I think is so far the biggest
It is?
app or website for part-time job. I don't know why I don't like it. I just don't like it.
But there must be a reason behind it.
I think maybe because I found my first baito from town work and I didn't like it. Maybe that's the reason why. And I feel like town work is really like a part-time job focused. Like there aren't many positions like interns or full-time. And I feel like a lot of kokose, college student and also high school students go to that website to get a job.
Yeah. I mean, but town work is really useful because you can easily download it on your phone and then scroll through like millions of options that matches your like interests and your situation. So if you're just looking for a quick job, you know, then I think town work is a good fit for you. How about gaijin pot? I've never heard of that actually.
I don't think I used it at all, but like I heard it from other friend of mine, and I feel like they're pretty popular like among the foreigners. It's from what I heard is that they provide you opportunities to study in Japan. They also do business like renting Japan. They give support of like finding baito, finding a full-time job that can provide you visa. It's definitely like a foreigner-oriented website. And also, I feel like Gaijin Pod, they offer jobs more in international workplace. For example, even I knew a friend who got a part-time job in Gaijin Pod. And it's like, even though it's a restaurant job, but the restaurant is a foreigner restaurant, and then most of the people working there are foreigners.
So if you can't speak Japanese, that website...
It might be easier for you, yeah.
Yeah, that might be easy to like find a job. Oh, speaking of language, for the taonwaku, there's no English.
I used it in Japanese.
Yeah, me too. I'm not really sure if they have like English version of taonwaku because I remember searching my jobs in Japanese.
Yeah, they will definitely write it in Japanese, and also if they're looking for foreigner, they will probably put a tag. You know, they have those tags. Gaikokujin something like
welcome gaikokujin.
Gaikokujin kange, or like eigo ikashitai kata, like people who want to utilize English in this position.
Yeah. So, but just a quick heads up that the app is not provided in English.
So you do have to sort of understand Japanese.
Or you can use Google Translator.
Yeah, that's fair. But also you gotta input and also reach out to the people in Japanese. So, but now you can use everything for ChatGPT.
Yeah.
What about the third?
Third one is the way I got my first job, aka the tour. I literally was in the tour, and then I was in the restroom, and in the restroom it says they're looking for a part-time job, and I was like, oh, they're looking for a part-time job, and I have nothing to do. Let me apply. And I applied, and the next day the manager called me, and then we had a quick interview, and that's how I got my job. So that's another way of getting a job.
Yeah, so I feel like nowadays in like the labor market in Japan, they're pretty in the shortage of labor, right? So a lot of stores. So because a lot of places are looking for people to work there, and probably their manager is not good at internet stuff. So they will literally put a poster outside the store or like in the restroom. In the restroom where you're peeing. Like there's a huge fucking poster be like,
just to justify a little bit, I was washing my hand while I was looking at the the poster.
There's a gigantic poster. Do you want to work with us? That's definitely a way. Like, if they put a poster, that means they're literally hiring people. They want people to work there.
And you can see these kind of posters quite easily in cafes or restaurants. So
I feel like, for example, Matsuya, those like chain restaurants, McDonald's.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, so make sure to check that out as well. And the last one is a website called Hello Sensei. I'm sure you're not really familiar with this one.
That was my first time hearing that one.
Yeah, so this is a website that my senpai told me. It's a website where people can teach like languages to each other, and the most popular one tends to be English. So a lot of Japanese people or like Japanese parents look for English tutor, and they often go to the Hello Sensei website to look for tutors. And I think it's pretty good website because you can negotiate the price, and if the students like you, then they can recommend you, and then that allows you to bring more students in. So I think it's a really practical website, and I will also link that in the description box as well. So if you're interested in it, you can check it out. Are there any other ways?
For the last one, I think is connection. Well, because we're all foreigners in Japan, I feel like a lot of jobs are actually recommended by the people around us, and then, So I remember one of my jobs. Well, not one of my jobs, but some of my jobs I didn't apply through any websites, but like my friend came to me and be like, oh, we're actually looking for people. Do you want to maybe work here? And then I was like, sure. And that's how I got into a few of my jobs.
Yeah. Okay, now let's talk about the application process. When I was first doing Baito in Japan, this part was quite challenging. Like, I did not know what I had to work on. Like, I thought I could just like apply through the app, and I thought I could just go in, but apparently that's not the case. What do you have to do?
Like writing the Ririkisho.
So if a manager contacted you after the application, they will ask you to have an interview with them. Then the thing that you have to bring is Ririkisho, passport and Zairukado. Yeah, those three things are the things that you have to bring. Yeah, but I think Ririkisho might be quite like unfamiliar for a lot of audience. Yeah. So can you explain what that is?
So Ririkisho is kind of like the equivalent of the CV or the resume in Japan. And I know, I'm not sure though, like in Western countries you guys might have a lot of formats for CV or resume, but in Japan it's already set. So there's a format that you can just use, and then you input all your experiences or like all your educational background, whatever, all your information into this format, and then you print it out and then hand it over to the interviewer. Yeah.
So don't just create your own resume. Make sure to download the free Ririkisho on the description box that I linked. Print that out and fill those forms. And again, it does have a lot of kanji, so you might want to get...
Honestly, just use ChatGPT.
Yeah, you might want to ask ChatGPT or rely on Google Translator, but it's doable because all they are asking you to do is just write in your name, birthday, your home address, and contact and school information.
And do you hold any certificates?
Yeah, certificates and past work experience and your strengths.
Preferred working time.
Yeah, preferred working time.
But and also motivation. But I feel like if you're just applying for a Baito, which is not a much big deal, they don't really care about your motivation. So you literally don't have to write anything there.
I mean, I kind of did write my motivation, but it wasn't that fancy. It was just 1 or 2 sentences of just me yapping why I want to work.
Especially as a foreigner, I think most of the manager or tenjo will give you a pass.
Yeah. So, yeah, Ririkisho is number 1 thing that you have to write and bring it with you. And what else? Jairukado and passport. And a lot of people, when I first started to work in the tour, the first thing that I was kind of worried about was my Japanese. I was like, will they accept me even though I don't have any JLPT? Because back then I didn't have any JLPT. But when the manager saw that I could speak in Japanese, he gave me a pass. But was that the same case for you?
Yeah. So when I was having the interview with my first part-time job, I was just talking with the manager, and he didn't ask me anything about Japanese certificate, but I guess he just noticed that I can sort of speak Japanese. So
yeah. So don't worry too much, even if you don't have JLPT. I mean, as long as you can have a conversation.
Even if you don't. So for my first part-time, first of all, he's 50 something, so he's speaking old Japanese, and then he was shouting to me something I just don't understand at all, and then she called me stupid.
Ouch.
Yeah. So yeah, of course I didn't understand him, but I feel like for a lot of part-time, especially if you work in the restaurants or konbini, come on, I'm working the konbini. How can you expect me to speak that good Japanese?
Yeah.
So you can always learn while working.
Yeah. And when I was in the tour, they also asked me to do something, but there were many kanjis that I just could not pick up. So I was like, But after 3 months, I sort of picked up what they wanted me to do, so I did my job. So don't worry too much, even if your Japanese is not perfect. I feel like learning on the spot is the best way to learn.
To be honest, yeah.
Yeah, so go for it, is what I want to say.
Yeah, totally agree with that. And based on how different the jobs you are applying, the requirement for a Japanese level is also not the same. So for example, in my case, I had a job. I have worked in a restaurant, a drugstore, tutor, and an office job. To be fair, I feel like, so I don't want to be saying this, but I feel like if there's a hierarchy of my work experience, restaurant is ichiban shita.
Yeah.
It's okay, no judgment on any job, but for me, that's the job I enjoy the least.
Yeah, me too. I'm currently also working in a clothing store, but working in a cafe was the most strenuous, most tiring, while I received the least amount of pay.
Yeah, and what I'm bringing this up is because I feel even though for me it's a lowest or the least satisfied job, but it actually requires a lot Japanese.
It really does.
I don't know, it's tricky because it doesn't require a lot of Japanese communicating with customers, because the way they order is, so they just say the name and maybe ground size or medium size. So it's a vocabulary that is, you can pick up easily, but the people there,
the coworkers,
there, I feel they're just not it. I don't know how to explain this. I don't know how to put this in an organized way, but that's how I feel. So in the work content, the content that you have to work, or the job that you have to do does not require much advanced Japanese. But the people there, if you couldn't speak good Japanese, I feel like there's a alienation feeling, or like there's like not fitting in feeling.
They do get frustrated, not gonna lie, with like foreign workers when
Yeah.
they don't understand, because it makes sense, because restaurants or cafes are like jobs or works that you have to work like quite quickly because customers are constantly coming in, so the managers do expect you to work fast and catch up fast. But if it's your first time working in Japan, and if Japanese is not your native language, you might be like, oh, what am I supposed to do? Like, you might be like, like your brain might shut down or something. But a lot of managers or coworkers do not really appreciate that, because customers are constantly coming in.
Yeah.
So it makes sense why some managers are kind of rude. Yeah.
Looking to the other side, from my experience of working in the drugstore, well, by the time my Japanese has improved a lot, so I can basically understand what people are saying to me. But for example, for the tutoring job, because people don't really expect me to speak Japanese there, so a lot of people are chill with me, and I don't know where I'm going for this, but I just feel like for me the least satisfied or the least happy experience was to work in the restaurants,
or restaurant or cafe in general, like food industry,
service industry.
Service industry, yeah.
Because even though like a lot of college students or like high school students, they're working in the cafe or restaurants, right? But I feel like they can
bond together.
They can bond together easily. But so when I was working in the restaurants, all my coworkers, they're kind of like high school students. They're always talking, but nobody approached me and talked to me, even though I speak Japanese.
So I think at this point the problem here is not Japanese, but feeling of like inclusion.
Yeah.
I think it really makes sense, because that is the only reason why I quit the tour. Like, the work was doable, even though they asked me to do a lot of like washing and things and like, calculating. But the hardest part for me was like not being able to talk to my coworkers easily.
Yeah.
And I think it makes sense, because like in a cafe, you are kind of like stuck in a small like area. Like, if you're working in a clothing store, you have to constantly roam around to like talk to the customers. But in cafe, if there's no customers, you kind of have to like stuck with those coworkers, right? But if you are not feeling to in Japanese, like, at least for my case, they kind of tended to like speak within like their squad and not talk to me. And yeah, I think the biggest problem was not Japanese, but rather the feeling of not being able to fit in.
Yeah. That's my opinion on the restaurant job, or like.
But yeah, I mean, it might be different for your case, but that's how we felt, and just wanted to share it with you, and just to let you know that you're not the only one if you're also going through this.
Yeah. In the last part of this video, we're gonna introduce or tell you guys what kind of job that we worked in Japan and how it was.
Okay, so I'm currently working in a big clothing brand, and the thing that's really unique, actually, I don't know if it's like a unique Japanese thing, because I've never worked in like Korean or like other countries part-time jobs, but the one unique thing about Japan is that they have a really long training period. At least in the clothing brand that I'm working in right now, they require me to come to the store for 4 hours just so that I can do the training. So I learned about their clothes history. I learned about like different types of harassment. And then learn about what it means to like put the customers first. So it's very like structured, and it's very like manual oriented. So it was something that I never expected myself to learn, but I'm learning new things. So I'm overall really happy.
So the difference between small, medium size of the company with a huge global company is that the global company is more inclusive and they have more regulations or like they have to really follow the flow, how you train people, how you work, how.
The thing that I really want to say it out loud is that if it's your first time working in Japan, I really do recommend you to start working in global companies, like, I don't know, like big corporations, rather than like local restaurants or local like cafes, because big corporations, they tend to have very good manual and they tend to like teach you like manners. So even within the coworkers, like they train like all the people working in that store to be respectful to each other. So I really appreciate that environment, especially because I'm a foreigner. So if you're deciding between like local and like big corporations, like global clothing brand, like those line, do go for the big corporations. That's my advice.
Yeah, and also as a foreigner, I feel like by joining a big company, your benefits get to be guaranteed.
Yeah.
They're not gonna steal anything from you per se. So like there are some, not trying to be shady, but there are some restaurants that try to exploit from the workers. So joining a big company is can prevent you having those issues. And also big companies are more international, for sure. And they have more international customers. The vibe is more open, especially in a country like Japan. It's not really open. So
so even the co-workers that I'm working with, like when I was working in a cafe in general, they prefer to have workers who could speak fluent Japanese, whereas like big global companies like the one that I'm working in right now, they really appreciate your labor or your work, you know, because you can speak multiple languages. So if
they pretend they really appreciate.
maybe
I mean, at least they pretend.
Yeah, at least they pretend. In the cafes, they didn't.
In the fucking first restaurant, I didn't understand the fucking thing he was saying. He was like, "You are worthless."
He really said that?
He called me stupid.
Oh.
He said like, "What are you doing here?" I was like, "I'm working."
Jeez.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my advice after 3-4 different types of jobs that I've done in the past 2 years. Yeah. Another interesting thing about this Japanese part-time work culture is that they have this thing called transportation fee. So if you travel to if you commute to the workplace by train or bus, they will also give the transportation fee as well. So on top of the salary that you get on a monthly basis, you also get your transport fee, like both ways. So that's really good thing about it, I think.
See, I never worked in China.
Yeah.
But so like the first work I have was in Japan. So like this transportation fee for me is like normal. I actually don't know if they have transportation allowances for like if you work in a part-time in China.
Yeah, but I know for sure that in Korea they don't include that as well.
Any Chinese friends, please comment down below to let me know. And I love the series. It's getting like more and more Chinese viewers.
Yeah.
Love.
Yeah, and actually it's kind of like off topic, but we are attracting a lot of international audience. Like I saw people from like Brazil, Indonesia,
Spain.
like Korea. So I'm really happy.
Yeah, I'm happy too.
Yeah. And also another thing about Japanese like work culture is that once your work has started, you actually have to work.
Ugh, I hate that.
In Korea, according to my friends, I've never worked in Korea, so I don't know, but my Korean friends told me that if there's not many customers, they can like freely like pick up their phone and then like be on their phone until like the next customer comes in. But in Japan, you actually have to work even if there is like no customers. Like there's no such thing as break. There's no such thing as sitting down while you're working. You always have to stand up. You always have to at least pretend like you're busy. You at least have to like wipe your table.
That's what I do all the time.
So that's like one culture shock for me. Like part-time jobs like in Japan, they are pretty serious.
Yeah, I mean because in general, like Japanese people are majime.
Yeah, they really are diligent. So
yeah, I feel most related about this when I was doing the drugstore baito, because in drugstore, like if we don't have much customers, there's actually nothing that you can do. But literally, so I was demanded, I was like told to like arrange the stocks. And literally, I have nothing, like everything was so in order. But I have to do something. So literally, this is what I did. Literally, this is what I was doing, but it's so boring. And yeah, like, and then after a while, we changed a manager, and the new manager was like so much, like really hardworking. He was like, during your free time, you have to have this whisk. I don't know how to call that in English, but it's like a feather whisk. During your free time, you have to whisk off the dust on the products. You have to like mop the floor. I was like, girl, fucking give me a break.
But yeah, even in the cafe that I was working, like this lady told me to like wipe the like desk if I have nothing else to do, or like, arrange the cups.
But literally, a lot of jobs is not necessary at all. Like, you are literally just doing stuff because you need to make yourself look busy. I hate that so much.
Yeah, I hate that, but that's also like Japanese thing, like the service mindset. That's like one thing that I learned by working in like different part-time jobs, like the idea of like customer first, and the idea of like you have to serve the customers is something that I learned.
Okay, this might be a random side note, but for the customers who think that customer is a god, no, you're not.
Stop! Anyways, what I'm trying to say here is that Japanese part-time jobs, they really teach you how to like serve the customers.
How to be submissive.
Honestly, how to be submissive when you're with the customers. And that's a unique culture that I learned. Yeah.
And speaking of the work culture, you also mentioned something earlier, like about their work mentality, or like their work mission.
If you want to get hired, there's two things you can say. Number one, I want to grow together. 一緒に成長したいです. And number two, I want to work here for long terms. Long terms here, I mean 4 years. The moment you say those two statements, you will get hired.
Most likely.
Because in Korea, when people say part-time job, it literally means part-time job. Like
it means I need money.
Yeah, I need money, so I just need to work for 2 months. You know?
Exactly.
But in Japan, when they say part-time jobs, it is not a part-time job. It is 4 years of actual job. They expect you to work for 4 years. So if you are a first year of like college kids, once you enter the company, the manager expects you to like stay with them until they graduate the university. So that's a norm apparently.
That's normal for Japanese people for sure. Like, I admire some of my peers. They're like, for example, they entered high school, or they entered uni, they can work in this place for 3 or 4 years. I admire that. For me, my maximum of baito was like 7 months or 8 months. That's like long for Chinese people, for me at least.
And another thing that the managers really like is the idea of wanting to grow together with the company. Yeah, so if you say that out loud, you will get hired, like 99% of.
And I'm just like, girl, it's McDonald's. What can we learn together? Fries?
But like, it works.
It really works. Like, they really try to do this, like, 一緒に働こう雰囲気.
Like, 一緒に働こう. Like, senpai will help you. Kohai will receive help.
Yeah. They really try to do that.
Yeah.
And that's just not me. I'm sorry, babe. Sorry, not for me. I'm like, I will be here for 2 months, and later. Probably not.
Not even later. It's like forever bye-bye.
Yeah. So that's something is shocking to me. And so, yeah, like they really try to create this bond together. And even, so one of my friends, he's Japanese and he's studying another uni, but he's working in this izakaya for like many fucking years. And then they hang out basically I think 2 times a week after working. And for me, I can never do that with like.
So that was a little bit about me, but what about you?
So I go to Baito because I don't have money. Literally, that's it. I mean, but aside from that, aside from not having money, but the other quality or insights I gained from joining different Baito. So I joined, like, I participated 4 Baito-ish, and they're like different industry. So, as I mentioned before, restaurant, drugstore, they're kind of right, and then tutor, and then like office job. Something I wouldn't say I appreciate, but something I learned the most was like how I understood, but not really understood, how Japanese people think. For example, like as you mentioned before, their work mentality, their work expectation. You know, those are the things I understood, but I personally don't understood.
Such as
like, you know, they want to work with me for a long time. They want to like hang out. I'm like, oh, we're part-time, so I don't want to hang out with you.
Yeah.
I'll probably never see you next time. And also, like, I just hate, well, this might be my personal issue, but I just hate not feeling belonged. Not feeling
fit in.
Or like feeling alienated. That's the moment I relate with the term that we learned in sociology. Alienation.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just a person that goes there to work, and like, because I'm not Japanese, I'm a foreigner, the language barrier is there. So I don't feel like they're trying to communicate with me. They're not trying to make friends with me. Yeah. So that's why I don't like it. Whereas the tutoring job is easy for me, and it's a little bit high pay. And people don't expect me to speak Japanese there, which is fine. I feel like that's like an easy job for all the foreigners. Then the office job, what I'm doing right now, which I really, really, really appreciate. If I'm a coworker, if you're watching this video, thank you a lot, bitches. Like, I love you guys, like, really, really. It's a place that I can learn a lot of stuff. And because we have, I think, Hanbun, like half Japanese and foreigner, most of the people, even though they're Japanese, it's kind of like you joining the big company. Like, not every Japanese person speaks really good English, but they can communicate, and they're willing to communicate in English. And I'm willing to communicate in Japanese too, but I need to communicate with the international mindset Japanese people. I can't with those restaurant Baito people. Yeah. And to the next point that I want to mention is the connection, which I think I already mentioned in the beginning, at the beginning of the video, that as a foreigner, take advantage of your identity of being a foreigner here, and then we're foreigners, we're all connected. This is not a foreigner case, but like in KO, we have a big group chat, right? And a lot of people are posting, oh, we have this like internship position, who want to join, something like this. So, you know, information share. Yeah, probably that's it. I like working in general, because I feel like if I don't work, I just waste my time, which sounds kind of pathetic. But I do not like working in a restaurant.
So now I kind of wrap up this video today, and before we end the video, can we talk about some of the pros of working in Japan, like reasons why foreigners should have the experience of working in Japan if you're living here for like a long term?
Pros, you get money, and so I assume a lot of people who is looking for baito, looking for part-time in Japan, is because they're either they just landed here, they're in a uni, and or, you know, they just landed here, they need a transition job ish. It's a really good place that you can just not give a fuck. So I feel like it's a good place for you to learn, for you to like make mistakes, for you to learn their culture and learn, just adapt to the society.
So all the part-time jobs that you come across in Japan, they are the like mini version of like actual Japanese society. So working in a part-time job really allows you to like learn their culture, learn their mentality. And also it's a great place for you to learn keigo. Keigo is something that's really hard to learn unless you actually use it in a real life situation. So I personally learned a lot of Keigos while working in a food industry or clothing brands. So I think that's one of the reasons why you should try working in if you are interested in it or if you have some time, free time in your hands. But yeah, that's a little bit about our experiences in Tokyo when it comes to part-time job.
Explore and experience as much as you can.
While you're younger.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we wanted to like send across. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. And if you guys have any other opinions or topics that you want to hear from us, please comment it down below because we're running out of ideas. So yeah.
Yes.
Anything else?
And if you guys are living in Japan or living in the north semi-sphere, I truly hope you that enjoy this spring because I enjoy the spring. Yes.
Yeah. Make sure to go like some picnics with your friends, your loved ones. I will see you guys in our next episode. Bye!
Love you guys.
Lots of love from us. Bye!